Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101, and I cannot wait to tell you what I saw in my email this morning, and I saw Duolingo in my morning. Actually, yesterday morning, I saw Duolingo in my email, and I was absolutely, positively happy and joyful because it's time to make some money. Yes, y'all. Who got the vibe? It's the time, y'all. So I looked at Duolingo. I'm a big Duolingo advocate. Every time I travel somewhere, I pop out my Duolingo app. I pop out my Bible app. And I've even paid for Duolingo. I'm within that 2% of people who actually pay for Duolingo. Now, for you guys who are not familiar with my channel, you're new to this channel, a couple of months ago, I went to Brazil. And months before that, I've been to Mexico. And this month, at the end of July, I'll be going to Dominican Republic. And I will still be going back on the Duolingo app to learn a little bit more Spanish. Now, when I was over in Brazil, believe me, learning some Portuguese prior to me going was absolutely the best thing because a lot of Brazilian people do not know English the way that you go to other countries like Mexico and Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. territories. But nonetheless, you get what I'm saying. A lot of countries know English, but there's a lot of countries that you may want to visit. They're very, very beautiful country. A lot of good traditions and cultures and food that you may not know the language. They don't know your language, so you have to learn their language because you're going to their country. But let's get into the money of Duolingo because it's very, very important. Now, Alphabet back now. I use Google in the title. It's not misleading because we understand that Alphabet is the parent company of Google. Alphabet backed Duolingo becomes the first venture capital funded $1 billion Pittsburgh tech startup company. Let's just read the headlines here. Now, for you guys who are not familiar with Duolingo, let me just familiarize you because you may have been living in a cave or a rock. Language learning app Duolingo is valued at $1.5 billion after a $30 million investment by Alphabet's capital G. Now, again, Alphabet, aka Google, all in one. Bookings growth has risen from $1 million, listen to this, has risen from $1 million to $100 million in less than 3 years for the most downloaded and top grossing education app worldwide. It says here that Pittsburgh First Venture Capital Fund, $1 billion startup plans to increase staff. Listen to this, they're growing to increase staff by 50% with the new funding. It also states here that another Pittsburgh-based tech company, Argo, is valued at $7.2 billion. The self-driving technology firm funding was achieved through direct multi-billion-dollar dollars. This is absolutely phenomenal for you guys who are trying to get into investments like myself. Like, I love investing, I love IPOs, but this is the one thing you have to realize when you invest in IPOs. More so when IPOs come out, let's take, for instance, IPOs come out at $40. More times than not, the history states and statistics, historical data shows you that IPOs will come out at, let's say, for instance, again, $40, but then they'll drop down to $35, $32. You have to be a long-term investor if you're going to invest in the initial public offering, IPO. You have to be a long-term investor unless you're just waiting for a spike, or you're a day trader, or you're a swing trader. All of these you can make money, but if you're going to invest in something like Duolingo, Duolingo has been around for quite a bit of time, and it's continued to grow, multiply, and its evaluation is $1.5 billion. And what I'm loving on Robinhood is that Robinhood, I'm one of those special guys, thank you Robinhood, that I can invest in the initial public offering of a lot of stocks. Now, I showed you guys the one, a couple of days ago. I forgot the name of that particular stock, but nonetheless, we won't stop there. As we're looking at this is how Robinhood kind of walks you through it, requested by Duolingo. You can participate in the IPO over here, access in just a few steps. So let's just talk about it. Here are a couple of steps you guys may see. You may not see these on your particular Robinhood portfolio, but this is mine because I have the authority, ability to invest inside of this. So let's just confirm eligibility, blah, 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 blah. You know how they get. We want to give you all the legal jargon, and I've read it before, just FYI. And so now that it's going through that particular phase, I'm not going to wait here. I'm going to keep moving. Now, language learning startup Duolingo has filed to go public. The East Liberty-based company filed a Form S-1 with Securities and Exchange Commissions on Monday. This is the two co-founders started Lingo to combat inequalities in education. The company said in its SEC filings. Now, as we're talking about Google, and Google invested it now through this Alphabet. Now, Alphabet is Google's parent company, and under Alphabet is another company called Capital G, which they invested $30 million, which helped increase the value of Duolingo to $1 billion. For you guys who don't understand what I'm talking about, somebody gave somebody some money so they can actually start their business like officially on the public market, and now they're worth more than they was before. That's basically all I'm saying. So back at it. Now, is Duolingo making money? And I had to ask myself this question. I said, how is this app so good and free? Now, there is a paid version. Like I told you before, I've done the paid version. But as we look at this, ladies and gentlemen, it says here that only about 2% of Duolingo's active user base are for the premium version of the app. The fee is $84 a year, but because their base is so huge, that is revenue upwards of $36 million, expects that the number will grow as more users realize the value of the app and support it with premium subscriptions. And let me tell you, Duolingo, in my opinion, is one of the most valuable apps. Now, I'm going to show you my account, but I had to really do some digging because we come back up here and we see that the SEC filing, right? We're talking about the SEC filing. This is kind of things that happen in backstage that most public people don't see. But I had to go do my research because you know me, guys. I want to make sure that things are all legit, okay? What type of SEC filings? But what I love here is that they list their subsidiaries, and these are all their SEC filings. If you look into the left over here, see how I'm playing with this right here? To the left of Duolingo, you see this emblem. That is the Securities and Exchange Commissions, what I always talk about, the SEC. Now, why is this important? Because you want to make sure that the company is filing the right sort of paperwork for it could be around for a very long time. I'm speaking in layman terms so everyone understands what I'm talking about. Now, this is one of the major ones here, as filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. That's a very important one back in, June 28th. Today is the 2nd of July. Form of stock option grant notice and stock option agreement. So you guys can do what? Buy options with Duolingo. Last but not least, this is the last one I'll cover when it comes to their filing, is a form of restricted stock units, grant notice and restricted stock units. Now, if you guys work for any big organizations, you understand that RSUs or restricted stock units are when a company allows their employees to even be given stocks for a contract or an incentive or even a bonus. So these are all great things that Duolingo is doing in the backdrop that you may not know of that makes the stock even worth, in my opinion, worth more than 1.5 billion, because I am a huge advocate of Duolingo. It's one of the first it's one of the first apps that I use for language. I've used probably about 3 or 4, but Duolingo is number 1 on my list. I am a user, and I soon will become an investor. But let's get into some more data, some more statistics, because I know you guys want to make sure you're putting your money in the right place. And quite frankly, I need to put my money where my mouth is. So here we go. Now, with that being said, is Duolingo profitable? As we went over about the 13.5 million. Now let's get into some other revenues that you might not have known of. It says, despite running at a loss, Duolingo brought in 161.7 million in revenue in 2020. The company made over 55 million in a single quarter. Okay, that's about 3 or 4 months, which was closer to the annual revenue of the previous year. Annually, revenue was up to 129%. Okay, Duolingo has come a long way. Fast sales went from 1 million in 2016. Listen to this. Sales went from 1 million in 2016 to 13 million in 2017. They increased it by $12 million. And now they've reached a 100 million mark. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a very, very valuable stock. But again, I must warn you, this is long-term investing. Don't expect for the stock just to explode. Now, I said don't expect it. That doesn't mean it won't happen. But don't expect it to happen because it's not a usual thing. Okay? Especially when a company, even though its valuation is 1.5 billion, there's only 2% of the 100% that are going in and actually buying subscriptions like myself, because I want all of the added features. Okay? I want all of the added features. Now, as I move on here, let me show you my particular Duolingo so you understand that I absolutely use the app. And I love this app. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely love this app. Now, as you can see right here, I'm pointing this up. It says Portuguese and Spanish. These are the two languages that I was learning. I have to get back in here for Spanish. I have to brushing up on my Spanish because I am going here to the Dominican Republic on July 30th. Now, of course, that's my smiling face over here. And there's some people who's followed me. I didn't even know that feature was on here. But again, it's like any other social media app, but this is a learning app. Right now, you see that I have it on Brazil for Portuguese. That's because the last country I visited was Jamaica, but they speak English. But anyway, so I'll have to switch this over to Spanish because I am going to the Dominican Republic. If you notice, I've done a lot of things in Spanish here. I've just built on my knowledge. I've skipped a couple of things. And listen, these are all the things in Spanish I have not touched. There's a lot of learning to be done on this app, and let me tell you, they have not restricted anything. And a lot of people will say, okay, so how much is Duolingo Plus? And so right here, it shows you what Plus have to offer. Learning content, if you notice, is free and also on Plus. Unlimited hearts, practice mistakes, no ads, mastery quiz, unlimited test outs. So when it comes to me, ladies and gentlemen, the value here for me is that I love the unlimited test outs. I can keep taking the test so I can move on. On the free version, you have to pass the test. Then you have to start some of the training all over again. Whereas though if you had to pay for the Plus version, you don't have to go through that. This is the value of the app for me for going Plus. Now, the evaluation, 1.5 billion. The investment or the IPO release, you absolutely should be looking in. But if you guys are not familiar with Duolingo, or you are, and you're about to go to another country and they speak another language, do not expect that country to speak English. Go and learn some hellos, goodbyes, where's the bathroom, excuse me, things of that manner. I'm sorry. Very basic language that'll get you around so you can be polite and you can let people know that you're here. You respect their culture, respect their tradition, you respect their language. And this is one of the apps that absolutely does that. I remember when I was planning a trip to Africa a long time ago, and I said, you know what? I want to learn Swahili. And believe it or not, give me a second here. Let me see if I can find this. I haven't been on here for a while, but there is a way that you can search. Let's see here. Shop, I don't think I'm in a right spot here, but there is a way for you to change your language. Let me go back up here, add new course. There we go. And listen, I'm just gonna go over some of these languages very quickly because you might not know that it's on here. And then they also tell you how many people are learning this language at the current moment, okay? So let's go with it. Spanish, French, Japanese, German, Korean, Italian, Chinese, Hindi, Russian, Arabic, Turkish, Portuguese, Dutch, Latin, Swedish, Irish, Hebrew, Norwegian, Polish, Greek, Vietnamese, Finnish, Hawaiian, Indonesian, Danish, Romanian, Welsh, High Valerian, Scottish Gaelic, Czech, Swahili, Ukrainian, Hungarian, Killam, Esperanto, Navajo, Yiddish. Now, this for a moment, if you notice, out of all these languages, there's only one black language from Africa. And for my African brothers and sisters, I'm sorry. This is probably not the app other than Swahili, okay? But all the other languages are from European countries, okay? Or Asian countries. That's the unfortunate part, okay? But one of the major languages, okay, in Africa is Swahili, most dealing with East Africa, okay? East Africa and South Africa, a lot of them do speak Swahili, but again, they need a lot more African languages on here because African has hundreds of languages and hundreds of dialects. But nonetheless, this is Duolingo, and I believe that you should invest in it, and it's worth $1.5 billion. I do not have an expected IPO price for you. I'm sorry. I've been researching, I've been data, but I'm thinking anywhere from $15 to $30. This is Financial Literacy 101. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, tonight is your cigar talk. We have a couple of things we're going to talk about. Most likely, we're going to talk about Bill Cosby. You have a great and wonderful Friday. I'm out.